أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونصلي على المرسلين من آدم إلى محمد عليه الصلاة والسلام لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask for His help, we seek His forgiveness, and we ask for Allah's blessing for each and every messenger, from the first prophet Adam to the last prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Muslims do not differentiate between the messengers of Allah. We also ask for Allah's blessings, mercy, and forgiveness for every believing man and woman. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf in Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن. O Prophet, through this Quran, we narrate to you the best of stories. وَإِن كُنْتَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. And you were not aware of these stories until now. Stories of Quran are not biographies of the prophets, nor are these for any history Wikipedia. Quranic stories are very didactic in nature and content, full of guidance for us. An important protocol to observe, to follow while reading Quranic stories is not to entirely focus on its characters, be it prophets or others. We as humans, we tend to fall in love, we adore, we tend to idealize the characters of the stories. Our attention must remain concentrated on the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the author of these stories, His might, His wisdom, the majestic powers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A common or crux of every Quranic story is the supreme governance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how He fulfills His promises. For example, promise made to the mother of Musa, Inna radduhu ilayhi wa ja'iluhu min al-mursalin. We shall return this baby back to you and we will make him a prophet, our messenger. Quranic stories tell us that Allah's plans are perfect to the details. Despite all the adversaries, He established Yusuf alayhi salam firmly in Egypt. وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ. Quranic stories tell us that the unparalleled powers and capabilities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala define all laws of physics and sciences. For example, وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا. Ashab al-Kahf, the people of the cave, or slept for over 300 years, probably in a cryogenic environment, or fire becoming cold for Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. So these are examples of metaphysical phenomena. These cannot be explained by sciences, at least until now. Quranic stories are about the severe wrath and punishment of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Nations of Ad, Thamud, and Fir'aun are examples. Allah says, "Qul siru fil ard." Pack your bags and travel around earth. فَانظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. See with your own eyes how Allah dealt with such criminals. Quranic stories are about the absolute justice of Allah Azza wa Jalla. When He decides for azab, those who are guilty have no chances to escape. Even the closest family members of some of the prophets were not spared from the azab. Wife of Prophet Lut is an example. Son and wife of Prophet Nuh are examples. Prophet Nuh alayhi salam in fact pleaded Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his son. But Allah rejected his plea. Allah rejected his shafa and said, Ya Nuhu, innahu laysa min ahlik, innahu amalun ghayru salih. O Nuh, O my prophet, your son is not from your family. So just imagine a prophet with 950 years of servitude, but his plea application gets rejected. His shafa application is rejected. He sees his own son being drowned in front of him. This must clarify some of the misconceptions around shafa for unrighteous persons. Innahu amalun ghayru salih. That is the one. And that is why Nisai, Muslim, Tirmidhi, they have reported Prophet ﷺ telling his own daughter and own family members, take anything from my belongings, from my assets, min mali, but I will not be able to help you or protect you in front of Allah. On the other hand, Quranic stories also contain very compassionate, very tender and emotional messages as well. Allah describes the agony of mother of Musa when she lets the newborn, the infant, into the water. فَأَصْبَحَ فُؤَادُ أُمِّ مُوسَى فَارِغًا. The heart of the mother became drenched, became empty, deserted. We see the intellect of a sister as she timely suggests how to nurse that baby. هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَىٰ أَهْلِ بَيْتٍ يَغْفُلُونَهُ لَكُمْ. Can I tell you, recommend you an Ahl Bayt, a family who can nurse this baby for you? In fact, his foster mother tried various wet nurses, but Allah says, I have made all feed sources haram for that baby except from the biological mother. We find glimpses of a love story in Quran when it says, فَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجرا. One of the girls comes to him walking in a bashful manner with shyness, and says, my dad wants to meet you to compensate you, to reward you for what you did for us today. Students of geopolitics will appreciate the wisdom of Queen of Yemen when she argues with her advisors and says, قالت إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها وجعلوا أعزة أهلها أذلة. The advisors and the military generals of Queen of Saba suggested her to fight the armies of Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, but she rejected their advice. And she averted a war, and she saved her nation from destruction. Her decision can be debated. In today's circumstances, we may see similar strategic vision, perhaps among I don't know how good is this example, but perhaps among Chinese leadership. Unlike some other leaders of the world whose decisions resulted in destruction of their societies, Chinese leaders remain focused on building their capabilities first, and results speak for themselves. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam was already present in Jewish literature over 2000 years before Quran was revealed. And most of the story in Torah, in the Old Testament about Joseph, it matches with Quran. But there are some errors too. For example, the book of Genesis says that his brothers sold him for slavery. This is not correct as per Quran. And this such description or discrepancies in religious literature, it leads to a very important principle, and this should be at least one takeaway from today's khutbah. Even if you forget the rest of the khutbah, that will be okay. Any information found outside Quran, including in Islamic literature, it has to go through the rigorous filters of Quran. It must be evaluated in the light of Quran. And this includes the Hadith literature. Hadith is not exempt from such scrutiny. Let me try to explain it with a small example. Bukhari, Muslim, and many Hadith books have a very famous saying of the Prophet that Allah has 99 names, one less than 100. Man ahsaha dakhala al-jannah. There are at least 3 understandings of this Hadith. But unfortunately, the most popular understanding, it does not align with Quran. In fact, it contradicts Quran. The literal word-for-word meaning of this particular hadith implies a limit around Allah Azza wa Jal, makes a boundary around him, confines him in a box or in a circle, that he has only 99 names, only 99 attributes, only 99 capabilities, only 99 functions. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. Prophet ﷺ never implied such meanings. Other than the word Allah, which is a proper noun, all other names are derived from attributes. And Quran says Allah has infinite attributes, beyond the capabilities of humans to count. قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفذ البحر قبل أن تنفذ كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. This was Surah Al-Kahf.
Your understanding is not proper. The hadith says that among the names of Allah, 99 names, whoever counts them and works upon them enter paradise. It does not limit the names to 99.
That is exact. That is true. Thank you.
That is the correct understanding.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. And in Surah Al-Qamar, Allah puts it even stronger words. وَلَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامٌ وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِذَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ. If all the trees on earth become pens and all the oceans turn into ink and 7 more oceans are added to it, we will never be able to write all his names, all his attributes, all his capabilities, all his wonders, all his creations. So hadith must be understood in a way that it becomes aligned with Quran. So that is the message, and thanks for clarifying which is the right meaning of this hadith, right understanding of the hadith. But what is generally popular, that only 99, it does not align with the Quran. And in fact, what we do is we try to interpret Quran or downgrade the ayahs to adjust with our understanding of a hadith, but Allah has forbidden strongly. This is not permitted. In fact, the various lists of 99 names which are separated, there are more than one list which are in literature. One of such lists is very recent, about 20 years ago, by a very nice Saudi scholar, Salih al-Taymin. And that is a better list. And even if you merge all these lists, the total is more than 99. So 99 is not the upper boundary. But the important thing, which is outcome of any faulty understanding of hadith, is is dangerous because it opens the doors for shaitan. We now find mushaf, printed copies of Quran in masajid with 99 names of Allah and 99 names of Prophet side by side. Some literature has 99 names of a shaykh or an imam. There is no harm in praising a scholar or praising an imam, but if an imam has 99 names, then a prophet must have 1,000. Allah must have millions and millions. We must not try to equate an imam or a shaykh with a prophet or a prophet with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that violates Tawheed. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam is an astonishing story of 3 dreams and 3 shirts, and also 3 false accusations. It starts with the dream of baby Yusuf, then the dream of 2 prisoners, and then the dream of the king. It begins with the shirt of baby Yusuf, then the shirt of adult and handsome Yusuf, and then the shirt of minister Yusuf. The first shirt with fake blood on it was an attempt to prove that he got killed by the wolves. And the second shirt, which was torn from behind, it proved his innocence from the sexual assault accusation. And Allah used the third shirt as a miracle to recover the eyesight of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. So this is a story of jealousy, story of seduction, story of forgiveness. It is also a story of food sciences, story of preservation techniques for the crops. It is a story of metaphysical world, world of dreams, world of jealousy, and world of miraculous cures. How can medicine explain treatment of blindness with a shirt? No LASIK surgery, no eye drops. Or when Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam tells his 11 sons not to enter the city from the same door. وقال يا بني لا تدخلوا من باب واحد وادخلوا من أبواب متفرقة. What does this indicate? Some scholars believe that this is a proof that evil eye exists. Wallahu alam. It is a story of extreme patience as well. Yaqub alayhi salam, even after losing the second son, he says, إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. I share my grief, my pain only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The most remarkable aspect of this story is the forgiveness of Yusuf alayhi salam, with 10 brothers, 10 half-brothers, and 1 full brother, and his dream as a child indicating his higher ranks in the eyes of Allah. إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. His brothers became jealous of him because their father loved him more. So they banished him in woods, but Allah had different plans. A caravan passes by, they picked him from the well, and they are the one who sold him as a child slave in Egypt. The same brothers who had wronged him greatly, when they came to Egypt seeking food during a famine, Yusuf alayhi salam forgives them without any resentment. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من الآيات والذكر الحكيم. Alhamdulillah. Please move forward if you can. Come inside, there's a room. Story of Yusuf alayhi salam is also about resisting temptations. His foster mother, a wife of his master, tried seducing him, but he honored his faith and rejected her advances. And listen to his words carefully, indicating that even he was not immune from the attacks of shaitan. He says, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي, I do not exempt myself. إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي. Indeed, the nafs is prone to sins. The souls are inclined towards sinning, except when mercy of Allah protects it. And that is why Allah ordered the last prophet alayhi salam to seek his protection. وَقُلْ رَبِّ أَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ هَمَزَاتِ الشَّيَاطِينِ. O Allah, I seek refuge with you from the whispers of shayateen. Although he came out clean from the first sexual assault accusation, but his ordeal did not end there. Later on, the same lady, along with her female friends, they entrap him again. He refuses again, and they threaten him with imprisonment. But he says, "Rabbi sijnu ahabbu ilayya mimma yad'unani ilayhi." Oh Allah, oh my Rabb, I prefer going to jail instead of what they are inviting me for. Why they? If you read the complete ayah, Allah used the term kaydahunna, which is a feminine plural. So it appears that that whole group of ladies got involved into that evil act of seduction. Even inside the jail, Yusuf alayhi salam preached Tawheed to fellow prisoners. وَاتَّبَعْتُ مِلَّةَ آبَائِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ مَا كَانَ لَنَا أَن نُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. He did not say, I belong to Ummah of Yaqub. No, he respected all the prophets, his father, grandfather, so all of them. And this is again an important point. We must not attach Islam to the last prophet alone. Islam began with the first prophet, and Islam was completed through the last prophet. All prophets are equally respectable for us. Even the sunnah of every prophet is respectable for us. It's an example of fasting on 10th of Muharram. It was a sunnah of Musa alayhi salam. It was a thanksgiving sunnah of Musa alayhi salam. When last prophet alayhi salam, he found out about it, he practiced this without any hesitation. So, sunnah of every prophet is we should respect. While in jail, Yusuf alayhi salam predicts or interprets a dream for the king, and then predicts famine in Egypt. King got impressed and he appoints him as his minister. 2 points here. Prophet Bukhari has a hadith from Prophet Islam saying that the best interpreter of dreams is the one who is best informed of the book of Allah. So knowledge of Quran gives a believer the wisdom to understand dream. Remember this hadith if you are ever interested in studying dreams. Second point, that Yusuf alayhi salam did not become a king, maybe perhaps a minister or chief minister. And this is another sunnah of Allah which we need to understand. Everyone should study. Allah could have made every prophet head of the state or a king, but he did not do it. So there is a huge wisdom behind it. And if we understand it even slightly, we will be able to analyze many issues and challenges which we face today. Because not all the prophets were given the administrative powers as well. Some were not. Or governing powers. One point in this surah which is discussed, you find in Tafasir, but I felt this is unnecessarily discussed, which is when Yusuf alayhi salam accuses his own brother for stealing, which if you read the whole surah, this was planned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should never question or even discuss the judgment or the wisdom behind such decisions. That's it, period. It happened. We don't need to try to justify it, why Allah did it. Allah did it. And this was the third incorrect or false accusation of this story. To summarize, every prophet was a Muslim and every prophet preached Islam. And Quranic stories are didactic for our guidance, but not to idolize the characters of those stories. Nothing can override or overrule Quran. Absolutely nothing. And every human is prone to sins. Mercy of Allah is our only protection. And no shafa'ah by anyone can be useful unless Allah gives us the passing grades first. Quran is very clear on this. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. تلك آيات